It's absolutely freaking beautiful in here. Don't miss coming down into this museum if you are in Istanbul. I mean, it's right under the mosques. There's no reason to not come in here. I think it was 60 lei without the museum pass. This is unexpectedly large. This is pretty freaking awesome. When she said above ground, I didn't think it would be anywhere near this massive. I mean, it's just row after row after row, column after column. Good morning from the surprisingly empty streets of Istanbul. Not really sure what time people start getting up and wandering the streets, but it definitely is not at 7 in the morning. Gonna wander down here a little bit and just walk around the block and check things out without a crap ton of people. But the plans for today, the rundown for today, is we're going to the Basilica Cistern first to hopefully get there before all the crowds fill it in, because it gets excessively busy in there. I think we're going by the Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque. The things I've seen from the Hagia Sophia recently, since it got stupidly reconverted back into a mosque from a museum, is that they added these gigantic chandeliers hanging from it, which in the images I saw very much detracted from what Hagia Sophia was. So that's kind of a short rundown for the morning, and I think in the afternoon we're going to be hitting the Grand Bazaar for a bit and then doing a sunset cruise on the Bosphorus. Speaking of the Blue Mosque, it's right up there in the background, or Hagia Sophia, I mean, right up there. So I guess I'll see you guys at the cistern. Hey kitty kitty. Hey kitty. Do you want stretches? Can I give you stretches? Go kitty. Go kitty. Yeah. Go kitty. When we were told that this was bigger than the one at Dara, we were kind of shocked and like didn't understand how that could be possible. And it is definitely bigger than the one at Dara. This is insane. So we got here right when they opened at 9 o'clock. Well, we were here a little early. So we were some of the first let in because we're with a guided tour. Even with being some of the first let in, it's already starting to fill up, and there's already a queue completely down the road of non-tour people who are going to be coming in. So we were told that it is a little more open, or less people close to close. So maybe if you want this place more to yourselves, come closer to close rather than open, which is kind of different than a lot of the sites we've gone, where if you get there right in the beginning, you have it to yourselves for a little bit. They seem to have they have some art displays going on too, which are some pretty cool, creepy like art exhibits. The columns, all the columns here, are old Roman columns from different cities and sites all around that were basically stolen and used here to build this gigantic cistern. And it is beautiful. So definitely come down here. Just try to do it first thing in the morning or a half hour before close. I did not even kind of expect it to be this large. The sound at the entrance has started to amplify from the number of people who are starting to come in, so I'm assuming they've started letting the solo non-tour people in. And it's, what time is it? Let me check for you. 9:15, so you get about 15 minutes, it seems, if you're with a private tour group at the beginning. You don't have to be with like a large group, even if you just have a private guide, which in Turkey you can get for pretty cheap. We just walked around, I guess you can call it the Medusa corner, where you get the two pillars here. Medusa at the base and a beautiful modern Medusa art piece. It's kind of depressing to see the disrespect of the flipping the Medusa head upside down when she was already so disrespected by the gods, turning her into Medusa in the first place. When you are walking through her, you will get drips of water on your head occasionally. But this concrete wall here behind me that you can see, or beside me, is built to support that part of the cistern and keep it from falling down. And there are another 40 or so columns back there behind that are forever going to be hidden behind this concrete wall. Man, a lot of the art pieces they've got down here are creepy, but I love it. And then Medusa, the way they have it set up with the shadow art, because the shadow was not the same as the statue. It was beautiful. I loved it. So we are coming up towards the end of it. Let me see how long it took. We've been down here for a bit over a half hour, walking at a pretty leisurely rate. We've had many people walk by us, so I think we're going at a slower pace than most people, but that tends to be the case for us at archaeological sites. We're heading up now, so I'll see you guys at the next site. Hey there, dude.
This is known as water scale. It's built by the Ottomans.
We are currently walking over to the absolutely massive Hagia Sophia, and the line is currently moving in, but she was telling us that they stop it every once in a while to let people filter out before they start filtering more people in. But as you can see, it is continuously moving with a lot of freaking people. So not sure if we will be entering. Oh my god, look at this dog. This dog is sleeping so good. That was freaking adorable pup. So I'm at the very least gonna wait in line with my mom. I may end up heading in. My sister is not joining us here. She went back to nap because she didn't sleep well. So we're gonna do these mosques without her. I mean, architecture-wise, it is freaking beautiful. It's just depressing that it's no longer a museum. One of our previous guides said that since converting it back into a mosque, the sun is hitting me. Since converting it back into a mosque, the number of people coming has drastically plummeted, along with the fact that it's a mosque now, so they aren't bringing in the money that they were as a museum. So they're losing they're losing that money, and that was a lot of money when you see this gigantic freaking line of people that are coming in. So probably not the wisest financial decision. Oh my god, the line just keeps on going, keeps on going, keeps on going.
Oh, really?
This is insane. We've traveled a good chunk at this point, and I honestly don't know if I've ever encountered a line as long as this line is to get in. I mean, even at the Vatican, like, I don't think we saw a line this long. But that was because they don't do a whole filtering people out. They just keep cramming them in like sardines as much as they possibly can. So we have went in and explored the Blue Mosque for a bit, and now we're out walking around the Hippodrome Square and checking out the little kitties that call this place home. That was my second mosque in my life, first mosque in Turkey, and I can say I'm probably not going in the Hagia Sophia. They're setting up to film something here, all these big expensive cameras, and I'm right in their way. I don't know what they're doing. But we're walking on Hippodrome Square now, checking out a couple of the little monuments and Atlas Obscura sites that are marked here. This is kind of one of those areas, though, that I feel like Atlas Obscura has strayed away from what it was, where it was all obscure things, and now over the years they've been adding more and more and more things that just aren't really obscure and are things that like literally everyone goes to see, like this fountain back here that we just saw, and this obelisk up here that we're heading towards. It's hard for me to call these obscure since they're in such prominent areas that you're gonna see. If you're walking through Istanbul, you're gonna see them. So I'm gonna be honest, I actually did not know that this long ago was a hippodrome where they did the chariot races. So I haven't learned something new so far here in Istanbul, walking around. We research pretty heavily before we go to places. So a lot of times what we were learning from tour guides is repetition stuff. But I actually did not know that this was a legitimate hippodrome. It's a shame it's such just a plaza now and you don't get any like the ruins other than like the obelisk and some of the things that they raced around.
Here is the second monument known as Serpentine Column. It was brought in here in the 4th century.
This wall behind me is apparently all that remains of the original like hippodrome wall, hippodrome stadium, other than the actual like obelisks and things like that were inside. So much has just been built up and built over. I'm glad that they kind of are putting stops to like just excessive construction, considering how old Istanbul as a whole is. They got to prevent it from being destroyed more.
So every neighborhood would have this, where you get nice and fresh vegetable and fruit.
We happen to be walking through here the one day of the week. She said that they have the fresh fruit and veggie market going on. And they look like some nice fresh fruit and veggies. And then over here is just a little bit more of the old hippodrome wall. So the hippodrome here was built in the 2nd century AD. I don't exactly know when it like kind of stopped becoming used and started being built upon for other purposes. I assume at some point after the Ottoman Empire or the Ottomans took over. It's a shame. It would have been a nice big hippodrome to have seen. And now all we get is the wall and the pigeons and the black and white kitty that's up there walking along the edge. As much as I dislike olives, I love the smell of them. I just walked by the olive section over there and it's a very strong and delicious smelling fragrance. All of the fruits and veggies here are so freaking healthy. Hey little guy. Hey little guy. You surviving out here? You're so little. You're so little. We're currently heading into the Mosaic Museum. It's kind of down underneath the Blue Mosque. Look at this cute little boy. I told him he chose a good home in the Mosaic Museum. Yeah. You're a cutie. You're a cutie. And we'll go downstairs. You can come down if you want. I'm kind of shocked about this Mosaic Museum. I was not expecting it because of just the area we're in, with it being all mosques and everything. So this was a very, very pleasant surprise. These are massive mosaics and they aren't making like gigantic scenes using the entirety of the mosaic. It's like the It's just little tiny images all around, and my sister is being a fucking bitch back here. This museum, it was basically us trying to fill in some of the time since we opted to not go in the Hagia Sophia. And yeah, I'm thinking this is better, at least for us and what we are interested in. And this is something that 99% of the people up there visiting the mosques are not coming into. And this is freaking incredible. It's not huge. It's like a half hour or so to slowly walk around and take in and admire all of these mosaics. And like I said, they aren't like big massive scenes, even though the mosaics themselves are huge, taking up the entire floor. They're just little tiny pocket pictures. And I love that most of them are animals. It's absolutely freaking beautiful in here. Don't miss coming down into this museum if you are in Istanbul. I mean, it's right under the mosques. There's no reason to not come in here. I think it was 60 lei without the museum pass. So it is 100% worth stopping at. I mean, this lion down here getting the deer, you can see the scratch marks into the deer's back. I guess it's not a lion, it's a mythical creature because it's got a bird beak. I don't even know. Is that a griffin? Do not miss this museum. We are heading into another cistern that I am not even going to attempt to pronounce the name of because I know I'm not going to get it right. This is an above ground cistern, unlike the Basilica one that we had just seen. This is unexpectedly large. This is pretty freaking awesome. When she said above ground, I didn't think it would be anywhere near this massive. I mean, it's just row after row after row, column after column. And just like the last Basilica cistern, they've got a little art display, but it's kind of more abstract splash art style art. So I'm not as not as interested or liking this stuff as much. Oh well. I'm not here for that. I'm here for this freaking gigantic cistern. And she was saying how that since this is an above ground one, they tended to use these as storage during the Ottoman time. So they would have been storing goods and things in here. So apparently that's where it would have been. So it's about 15-20 feet down there, the depth where like this whole thing would have been. But now they just got this one little square hole showing you it. And they've built up this entire floor around it. And holes just going into the ground. I mean, it's beautiful. I can't believe there's just no one down here. I'm gonna go walk up these stairs over here and check out the view from above. I love how they have this place lit though. I mean, outside of the lights themselves being a mild eyesore, it still gives a very beautiful look to the pillars. This is a pretty cool stop. And like the Mosaic Museum, barely anybody is coming in here. Especially considering how massive the freaking crowds are out there by the mosques and stuff. And our guide, who has been doing pretty much exclusively Istanbul tours for the last decade or more, says it's been years since she's been in here because no one else to come in here. It's just not part of the normal tours. And I just don't get it. I don't understand. It's so beautiful. So yeah, it only costs 100 lei per person, I think it was, to get into here. So about $5.50 based on the current exchange rate. But who knows what that's going to be in a few months or whatever with money going the way it's going everywhere. And I don't know if this is part of the museum pass, if you have that or not. But regardless, I think it's worth $5.50. It's nice, it's peaceful, unlike the Basilica one, which there's just so many people, and even if you get at the beginning or at the end, there's still gonna be a lot of people. Like here, there's, I'd say maybe 10 people total in this whole giant cistern. Definitely worth a stop in as you're wandering around the old town of Istanbul. Okay, doing this because there's no one else in here, but they actually have a freaking restroom in this cistern that is like built in it, and they just like surround the poles with like plaster, and like, this is cool. I like this. We timed our visit just right because a large tour group showed up just as we were exiting that cistern. So apparently some people do go to it, but not enough get to that cistern because it's definitely worth the 100 lei. And we have finally made it to the Grand Bazaar for our first time, but possibly not our only time of the trip, because we only got about 45 minutes to explore this cluster of people. But gonna do a little bit of shopping and see you guys on the end. There were 3 of these night Bosphorus cruisers leaving from like the same dock as us, and they were all on these little like private yachts. And we got stuck on the one that has the people who are showing up late. So we're now going to be leaving on our sunset cruise a little late, but we're finally pulling away from the dock now and going to be cruising down the European side. Doing a little Yui and then cruising down the Asian side a bit. So I'll pull the camera out and show you the good things. We have touched the land again after the Sunset Bosphorus cruise. If you're going to do a Bosphorus cruise, I would definitely probably recommend the sunset one because you're seeing the same things as you would see during the day, but you get to see the beautiful sunset with the mosques in the foreground and then the sunset behind. It was quite nice. So we're heading to our van now to take us back to our hotel for the night, and I don't know where we're eating, but I'm probably not going to bring you along. So if you watched the whole video and you haven't already, hit the like button down below, subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. That's what you get.